Damage is pointless, it's defense you should all be making videos about. Infinite damage and can't die? Okay. Welcome to Goblin-Inc. I'm Ace once again. Blizzard has changed how barriers operate in an effort to make temerity a viable item. Now barriers are based on maximum life. Let me explain what this means for the game. Let's quickly go over how the build works. Bulwark gives us a shield. More ranks means more shield. More ranks, more shield, more ranks, more shield. Normally, 100% base life was the cap, but that is gone now. At rank 11, Earthen Bulwark is already 90% of her base life, and will blow past that using barrier generation. Because the max barrier cap is now based on max health, we're gonna have to supplement our health with more health in the build. My current barrier is 14.5k. Now, my damage reduction while injured is 81.3%. Now, meaning that if I'm below 35% HP while I have a shield, I take only 18.7% of the damage to my shield. Effectively, I have 84,000 hit points, a little bit more, from just my shield. Also, the remaining 35% HP I have is worth 24,000 hit points, a little bit more, for a total of almost 90,000 hit points. In best in slot gear, you can get to around 100k effective hit points. Consider going low life as going Super Saiyan. It's not something you need all the time, but whenever you're playing content that can kill you, maybe it's Lilith, maybe it's Blood Blisters, maybe it's Death Explosions, maybe it's Lightning Storm in a dungeon, you can name it, low life can tank it. So for easy content, I like to use Shred. It's great because you can blink around. It does heal you if you take its passives, so it's not usable in the low life version. If the content gets hard, I usually swap it out for Cyclone Armor or something else. There is a lot of confusion on how Earthen Bulwark deals damage. Let's now go over how the build functions and how it does damage. Refreshing a shield or a shield expiring will do damage based on the enemy level and multiplied by barrier generation and all your multipliers. Ranks of Bulwark will only increase your shield size. Because of that, this build farms tier 100 Nightmare Dungeon at the same speed it farms a tier 1 Nightmare Dungeon. You one-shot everything and move on. Since more barrier generation equals more shield, but also more damage, it's a multiplier just like vulnerability would be, but for both damage and barrier. That's just how broken it is. We take it everywhere. On your rings, on your chest, on your helm, and even on the gems. Now, how do we get so many shields? Symbiotic Aspect will reset the shield every time that we proc or keystone Nature's Fury. Chrome Staff casts 2 skills at the same times. More skills, more resets. More resets, more shields. Very simple. Optional, but the faster we can attack, the tankier we are gonna get. So in this build I introduced on gloves the tech of playing with attack speed after a dodge. It's also possible to get this stat on an amulet. You can either buy it from a rogue player or you can make an alt. After doing 2 events in 1 dungeon you can enchant items and you can find this stat on gloves. Make sure the item isn't class locked to any class, of course. There have been more insane changes to the build. The Paragon board is really weird right now, so let's go over that and explain the changes. This is the most min-maxed Paragon board I've ever made. In the first board, you can take out Territorial for Exploit. I think this build is damage overcapped already and does not need more damage. In the second board, we don't take Heightened Malice anymore. We take Inner Beast with Protector, and then we take Thunderstruck with Shapeshifter, which is the core glyph that gives us 20% crit chance. But the key is the fourth board we take. Now, it's Earth and Devastation, we take Undaunted, and the secret is that Slayer is 440 intelligence and 612 willpower. Every point in this build is accounted for. We don't use any stat on gear, and no point of will can be swapped for dexterity or intelligence. Every single node in the build is accounted for so that you can get Slayer as your fourth board. After that, we do take Heightened Malice without going through the node, just to get good value out of Earth and Sky, and take damage reduction nodes from that. And in the last board, we take Spirit because we are really hungry for crit damage in this build, and this is better damage multiplier than Exploit. There are a lot of good boons, and you can play whichever one you like, but let me tell you how to use them. So, damage reduction you always take. Here it gets tricky. If you do not have enough shield to get your full barrier up, then, just like me, Iron Feather is a good choice. Swooping attacks, generally speaking, is the most valuable asset, as attack speed is the best stat for the build. Crit chance, also extremely powerful, especially if you don't need Iron Feather. Then, Pack Leader will reset the cooldown of Poison Creeper, which can be used for poisoning and also can be used to give you 20% crit chance. But I will probably take Pack Leader and also Poison Creeper out when you have enough crit chance. You don't need the extra damage, it's kind of annoying to press, you can take it out. You can also have 2 points in Wolf and have both Bolster and Pack Leader. If you take Bolster, you can take out some points from the talents, because then you can generate Fortify with this one, and you don't need to use 3 points for Fortify in the talents. You can also increase the ultimate duration by 25% if you want. Lastly, you always want to take Calm before the Storm to reduce the cooldown, of course, of Cataclysm. So for talents, we need to take both of the basic skills with the passives, as the Cron Staff will cast both skills and apply all the passives. Crit chance in close combat and movement speed are mandatory in my opinion for a smooth playstyle. Ranks and Bulwark all the way, unstoppable. Of course, innate Earth and Bulwark to do damage. Of course, Cyclone Armor with preserving for more DR. But this one can be taken out, in my opinion, to play with Shred. So you can take Primal Shred to spin around and clear faster in lower tier content. We take Vigilance, very strong DR, always active because Bulwark will proc it. And then we can take, of course, Poison Creeper with Brutal Poison Creeper for 20% crit chance, useful for people that do not have a lot of crit chance in the gear. Next, I like to take Endless Tempest to increase the duration of Cataclysm. We take Hurricane, we take damage reduction thanks to Hurricane, it's very overpowered. Then of course, you want to take Envenom, you want to take Toxic Claws and Neurotoxing, so that you can get there. And of course, you want to take Cataclysm, full points, nice to get the vulnerability at the start of a fight on everyone for the DR bonus. Then we take Resonance, it's 18% damage, very OP. We take Defiance, and we take here the Shapeshifting talents, which will give us Fortify. If you have Bolster, you don't need to run this, and you can run more damage passives, like Crushing Earth and Stone Guard. And of course, we take Heightened Senses for more damage reduction, and the keystone that makes the entire build function is Nature's Fury, which will cast a different skill of a different school on a 30% chance. Extremely overpowered with the Cron Staff. A quick look at the gear. People like to watch my gear. So my helm has max life now, has armor, bioregeneration, of course, basic skill attack speed, which is super important for us, because that's how we reset the cooldown of Bulwark. We take Earthen Bulwark is increased by 6 seconds as a defensive aspect here, because if you go low life, you don't want the shield to come out. We of course take, in my opinion, Disobedience is good on the helm. It can be anywhere really, but must have. We take ranks to Earthen Bulwark and Barrier Generation if you can on your chest, and then 2 damage reduction mods. For the pants, you wanna take maximum damage reduction while injured. The higher, the better. It should be maxed out. I don't have one, it's whatever. We take basic skill, grant 20% damage reduction. If you wanna run the werewolf damage reduction one, it's fine. On the boots, we rank Unstoppable as the best move speed aspect in the game. We take dodge chance, which will help us proc our gloves. And of course we have DR injured on the boots with total armor in werewolf. The gloves have Fortify, grants my earth skills +2 ranks, which might not seem a lot, but it's about 15% more HP, more shield for us. We take here dodge, grants attack speed, we take attack speed, we take crit chance, and I have all stats. All stats is not needed, crit damage with earth skill would be better. Then we take the current stuff. We're gonna run green gems on it, 6 ranks to clothe, doesn't matter. Of course, barrier generation, diamond in every slot, best in slot, never change that anymore. For the amulet and venom, really not needed, honestly. If you can get rank 2 defensive skills, probably better. But always get DR injured on this slot. I also really like attack speed on dodge, which can be obtained on amulet if possible, you know, but super high-end stuff. And you can have, of course, more good things on amulet like move speed. Here you want to have your Nature's Fury, cooldown reduction 8 seconds, must have, because to proc will grant you a reset of Bulwark. Brutal Heart, 20% damage reduction, can be in another blue slot if you want. My rings are the same, they have crit chance, they have barrier generation, they have vulnerability, they have crit damage. This one has max life. I couldn't find vulnerability, so it is what it is. Now, casting Earth Scales at 45% more crit damage, the aspect, natural balance, it's very strong damage multiplier. Probably don't even need that. Here I keep my Barber, basic skill grants 30% attack speed, super OP. Barber, of course, it's 2 seconds, the lower the better for speed farming. We take Devious Heart with ultimate skill, pull enemies, super strong. So you need a pink socket, you need a blue socket, and then, you know, Barber goes kinda anywhere. And that's kinda it for the gear and the aspect. Hope you enjoyed the video, see you on the next one.